What's up, y'all? Welcome back to our podcast. I'm Parris Kay.
And I'm Lady J.
And we are two in sync. What's up, you all? What's up, Jazz?
What up with you?
It has been a minute since we recorded.
Absolutely.
And so, what's been going on with you?
Same old, same old.
You know how, like, somebody asks you, how was work? And you like, well, work was work.
Yeah.
It's kind of what that was given when you just same old, same old. Like,
ain't nothing new for me to share.
You don't learn something new every day?
Is this about me and what I've learned, or?
This is about conversation.
You want to start off like this again?
How do you feel that we're starting off?
You're starting off, trying to go tit for tat with me.
That's how you're perceiving what I'm doing, but I am not trying to go tit for tat. I recall the episode when I asked you how you doing or what's going on, and it led us into conversation.
So that's what you was trying to do just now? You were trying to lead the conversation?
Lead us into a conversation.
So you just said it was about how I perceived it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about perception.
Okay, that's what's up. Oh my God. He is present in this place. Actually, we talked about perception at church.
Perspective or perception?
What's the difference between the two?
Your perspective is your view, right?
Yeah.
So what's the perception?
Is it still not your view?
One of them has got to be deeper than the other.
Deeper or different? Regardless, it's different because they're two different words.
It's definitely got to be some difference, but I don't know how different they are though.
Okay, me either.
We just gonna say either or. Your perspective or your perception. It's still the way you view or how you see, how you perceive. It's the same word, just used in a different way. I'm just tripping right now.
Perceive, perspect. Y'all, just please. But regardless of that, something I've learned today about perspective, or something that he just reminded me of.
Okay.
A group of friends that I used to have.
The past.
In the past.
Mm-hmm.
People would oftentimes wonder, why do I choose those friends? And I feel like they would say that based off their perceptive or
perspective.
Perception. Perspective.
Yeah.
What's the difference? I'm so tongue-tied.
You're confusing yourself now.
Okay. Well, perspective is the word I'm going to use.
For that one, absolutely. That's the correct word to use.
Okay. So, people's perspective on the friends that I used to have was different from mine, because they would only see them from a certain point of view, and I would always look deeper into a person.
So, what was their perspective of your old friends?
Raggedy.
No good?
Yeah.
Okay, and you saying that's not really what was going on. They were good.
I can see you seeing that, as he said, nearsighted. That's what you see. But if you can see past that, what do you see about an individual? I look past what you see.
Look past what a person is showing you. Why?
Now I'm saying look past your first thought about a person. It's almost like don't judge a book by its cover.
You shouldn't. Absolutely.
Right. So I'm saying look past that first. Look past it. Keep it in mind. Okay, this is how I received you when I first seen you, or this is how I see. But I'm saying look past that. I don't think you'll genuinely be able to be friends with anybody if you don't look past the exterior.
Girl, I'm listening. What?
I feel like you ain't understanding.
So you feel like you're misunderstood, and you're telling me that because I'm looking at you while you're talking to me, that I'm not. You don't think I'm understanding you?
I just feel like you wasn't understanding what I was just saying.
Because of what? What's giving you that impression?
Because
your perspective. You're looking at me,
that's
and
true.
You think that I don't understand, but I'm fully understanding everything you're saying.
That's true.
So you got to change your perspective right now.
I do. I absolutely do. And as well as you.
What's my?
When we first started the video,
You
thought I was going tit for tat, but that was just your perspective at the time.
That's what it was given, though.
Same here. Your no response and just like gazing in my eyes without showing no real
interrupt
vibe.
you while you talking?
I mean, some form of confirmation or like, yeah, would be all right, but just like.
I wasn't looking at you crazy. I'm just looking at you.
So you know how you was looking at me?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know you could see yourself.
I can't see myself, but I have a
You
general
know
idea.
how you was looking at me.
I know that I wasn't looking at you like.
I ain't never say that.
Ain't you? I know that's me looking at you crazy. If I'm scrunching my face up, I know I wasn't doing all
It
that.
ain't crazy. It's just like dumbfounded.
You know what?
All right.
Perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Look past what
The
what you see initially.
Mm-hmm.
But that can get, that can get real deep the way I think. Because my perspective on that perspective can go deeper.
Elaborate.
Because, okay, if you show me that this is who you are,
Mm-hmm.
why are you telling me to look past that? Why can't I just accept this is what you are?
I don't want you to look past that. Keep that in mind. This is what I seen when I first saw you or encountered you. But be able to look deeper within a person, depending on what you're trying to do with the person. I'm saying, like, for an example, you meet somebody and they just got an attitude or they always into it with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at that as, I'm saying look past that. For me personally, I look past that. That's just a broken person to me.
You're not judging.
Yeah, I'm looking past what you're showing me, the attitude or you always want to be into something.
Oh.
I'm looking deeper into that. I'm looking past that normal. I'm going deeper into that.
You trying to break the person down, like, and try to see what's really going on? Or you just literally...
Sometimes it depends on if I really want to know, but I'm just saying I always oftentimes look past. I keep that in mind. Oh, yeah. So-and-so got an attitude and they just stay in
always
drama.
got an attitude.
Right. But to me, I look a little bit deeper. Well, why does this person do what they do?
And
Not to say that they, I'm...
Not to say that it's okay.
Yeah.
Or that you're...
But something led that person to that. It's like when you was talking to... Oh, Lord. Y'all.
I was talking to who?
When you was talking to a coworker of yours and they began to tell you a reason why they didn't do something.
Why they didn't go to church?
Yes. I personally took that, okay, so what, something happened for you to come to that conclusion. I wouldn't just look at you and say, oh, you full of crap. I'm like, what led you to that?
Right. I feel you. That's right. You gonna have a perception based off what they tell you, and then you can either do what you do, which is go deeper and be like, it's a reason, or you can do what I do and just be like, okay, that's
Right.
how you feel. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
But since you just brought that up, that's a good topic as well.
Which is?
We talked about church hurt people before, but we never gave like an example
Of what that person may look like?
Yeah, in a sense. Like, we never really...
So what does a church hurt person look like to you? Or what may a church hurt person look like? Somebody that says what or do what or does what? How could you identify somebody?
The ones who are literally defensive when you even invite them. Be like, would you like to come? No. I'm not going to no church. That's...
So defensive people when it comes to the topic of church.
Yeah.
People who are easily...
Or they always have something negative to say about different, pastors that have like a large following. Or, stuff like that.
Okay. And so how can I deal with a person like that? How should you approach or converse with somebody that's very defensive? Because if you're looking at it from a different perspective, something led up to that. You really wouldn't know what led up to that. They could have physically been hurt in the church, verbally, or felt like they've been taken advantage of. But how can I care for this hurt person Instead of looking at it like, how can I care for this defensive person who ain't trying to hear nothing I'm trying to say? How can I care for this little baby who's just been hurt?
Oh,
Because
all
really,
I
that's what it is.
all
You
I
just
can do is pray for him. It's nothing more. Because if I invite you, you're already, oh no, I'm
Right.
not going. What more can I do? I can't. You have to want to go.
That's true.
I
I truly believe.
I can't.
Don't
I
force
can't-
yourself
Right,
on
I can't
anybody, as
convince
the
you,
word says.
But like you said, I can go deeper and try to find out. Well, what is it about church?
That's
what
the
happened?
answer, Jasmine. That's the answer right there
What
that I'm looking
did
for.
something personally happen to you?
Yeah.
Or are you going off of, culture? What culture is saying about church?
I think a lot of people they're not firm in their faith, so a lot of people don't really have faith, so they easily shift it, if that makes sense. Right, so.
And you got to strengthen your faith
Yeah.
in order to understand the importance
Right.
of going to church.
Right.
You feel like you can do without it. I mean, that's on you. But
I've encountered somebody this week actually, and when he hadn't been to church in a little while, and I was telling him, what's up with you? I ain't been. And he was telling me, I be basically hungover. By the time Saturday comes, Sunday morning, I'm hungover. My advice was to him, go anyway. That sound crazy?
no.
Go anyway. I don't know how somebody may feel, but this is my personal opinion. If you high, go in there. You slump, go in there. You upset, go in there. You don't feel like it, go in there. You happy, go in there. Go in there anyway.
It's
my
gonna be a
point.
word. It's gonna
And
be
it might
a
hit a
word.
little different when you it gonna probably hit even better.
Exactly. It may be a word just for you. If you just
Go
in
anyway.
there. Go anyway. We can preach on that right now.
We can.
Go anyway.
I'm trying to almost every time I got to go to church, I have to put that mindset of go anyway. I fail to prepare before church.
Well, you talking about the process of getting ready for church?
Yeah, as far as at least laying something out or something like that. So almost every Sunday I got to tell myself, just go in there. It really don't even matter. I mean, you want to present yourself well, but you know who you came in there for.
You know the reason.
Go anyway. I mean, you can't find no shoe. Just go with what you got. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that even for me, sometimes I got to tell myself, girl, go in there anyway.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody going with you this Sunday?
Like last Sunday, I've gotten accustomed to people being at church with me. And I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna be by myself today, which is normally what it was for a long time. But I haven't had to do that
in a long time.
So I was like, if I don't go and I just choose to watch it online, I feel like I'm gonna miss something because it's not the same experience, not for me. I went in there and Pastor did something he ain't did in a long time, having people come up, touch the altar. I said, see, if I wasn't here,
you wouldn't be able to touch the altar.
Exactly.
I ain't gonna say the next part.
I could have just said, I'm gonna watch it online.
Yeah.
But I went anyway. And I got a different experience than what I would have gotten if I would have just been at home.
Also, when you went in there by yourself, you actually sat somewhere different. How was that?
It was fine. It was fine. I sat definitely closer to the front. It felt more, I felt more surrounded because, where we sit, there's nobody behind us because we sitting on the back row. But yeah, it was fine.
Okay.
It was fine.
So just like you, I was at another building. I did attend church last Sunday as well. We just was at two separate buildings. But I too had to go in there by myself. I didn't have Jasmine to say, well, at least I got Jasmine to connect with me. I'm thugging it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes courage. But I think that's just keep in mind, let's do it anyway. Take courage.
And did you get a word?
I definitely did. It was actually, I left church crying. And I think I came over here crying. And so, yeah, that's the importance of that.
So when it comes to inviting people to church, do you even do that? Do you even feel the need to? Like when you talk to people and you're ministering or evangelizing, does it ever cross your mind to ask them, well, do you have a church home? Or do you, if you don't, would you attend if I invited you? Do you ever think to do that, or do you do that?
I do not, but I do feel that is something I can incorporate in my conversations with other people. I don't think to do that because, well, let me say I haven't been doing that because of where people head, like where they are in that space. So if you're not even sure it's him that you serve, or if I'm having a hard time kind of trying to come to a mutual understanding that this is your belief or something, I don't think like, well, let me just go ahead and invite them to the church, which still wouldn't be bad at all to go ahead and do that. But I normally talk to people who just they ain't even talking about the church, period. They ain't even get to the point of, I do believe in this, People who don't believe in the same thing, it's kind of hard to get them to.
Oh, you're saying, so for the most part, when you come across people and you're having conversations with people, they're not normally even Christians?
Yeah.
So what do they be believing in?
What was it? The creator of the universe and a higher power. Crystals, rocks.
It's funny the way you said that, but
how real is that?
That's what I hear a lot too.
I believe in a higher power, but I'm not gonna. I feel like people say so many things to say why there is not a God, instead of so many things to say why there is a God. It must be a God. If so, they will give you so many reasons. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I will give you 10,000 reasons as to why the God you serve is not real. But
I honestly don't run across too many people that are just like non-believers, like as far as don't believe in God, period. Like I don't think I know, I hope I don't know a lot of atheists. But normally, like you said, it's people who don't want to categorize themselves into a religion. So
that's big when I'm out there trying to minister to people. Most people just don't want to be subject to one thing. I think a lot to do with that is just like, me personally, this is my belief, they just don't want to be held accountable. I think when you it's accountability, and I feel like once you pick that path, you're going to be held accountable, and that's what people are afraid of. Don't hold me accountable because I didn't do XYZ.
But if some people don't even know that they're going to be held accountable for anything. Some people, it's not that don't put me in this category because I don't want to be held accountable. It's more so, I really don't believe everything in that category. Don't call me a Christian because I believe in God, but I don't believe Jesus was the Son of God. In that case, I believe in higher power. I believe in God, but Jesus was just a man. He was just like you and me. So that will put that you can't identify as a Christian if you say something like that. So for that particular example, it's not about being held accountable. It's literally, they ain't a Christian, they ain't a Muslim, they just believe in something. They're not.
I definitely understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I just for you not to want to be, I just still feel like even what you're saying, I believe in God, but not Jesus. I just don't want to be in a certain religion, but I do believe in God. It's still, to me, I don't want to be held accountable. If you don't want to place yourself in either category, there's some type of accountability, because each religion, I really don't like to talk about the word religion, comes with rules and
Rules. That's how you see it.
That's why I don't like to talk about religion right now. You're very
Religion
contradicting.
definitely divides us.
Yeah.
It separates us.
And so when I'm talking to people, back to what you said, I be more so focused on, if you can just get a relationship, he gonna lead you to everything else.
Exactly.
I will lead you to the church if I can just get you to have a genuine conversation with me. So when I'm talking to people, back to what you said, no, I do not talk about a church home. That's not my first thought.
You just trying to see where they're at mentally,
spiritually. Want to see where that relationship is. Do you even have one? Is it broken? Have you talked to him? When the last time? That's a question I always ask. When the last time have you prayed?
Ooh.
And you be surprised at the answers depending on who you are. Man, them jokers be. I prayed about 2 years ago and it's amazing to us, but to another person, they like, what's wrong with that? It's been 5 for me, But back to you, how do you, when you talk to people, do you invite them to church?
Lately,
okay.
I invited 2 people. I did.
That's what's up. And
one said that they would come. The other one absolutely said no.
Talk about
didn't even think about it.
And so how did you deal with that in a form rejection, or that just and how did you deal with that? Oh, I'll really look into that. What was the difference? How did you have to handle both situations? What did it make you feel like?
The person who said that they would come, of course, that's gonna make me happy. You know, I would love to see you in there.
Right.
Just come on in. You are welcome. Especially when this person is saying they haven't been in years and they're willing to come. So that's exciting. But the one who said no, I think I was more disappointed because there was no thought. It was automatic. It was an automatic no. Like, you didn't even think about it. So, that was more like, dog, you ain't even consider it. So it makes me think, okay, so what is it? What's going on? Is it me? Is it church hurt?
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, why was the answer so...
That's back to what we were saying.
So suddenly, so quickly.
Yeah, that's back to what we were saying. When somebody, you can look at it and take it in offense, or you can look at it and say, why? What happened? How did you get to this point?
It's stuff lying around. Like,
let them know, because...
Yeah, what caused you to not want to go? Or is it, it may not be, I may be overthinking it, or it may not be as deep as my perspective on that situation was. But after further talking to this person, I came to the conclusion that it wasn't just because it was my church. It could have been anybody's church. Anybody else could have invited this person to their church, and they still would have said no.
It had nothing to do with you.
So I can't take it too personal.
Yeah, definitely don't take offense to immediate rejection or no's. Speaking of perspective as well, I guess it's just a perspective episode.
Perspective.
But something that I've been doing the past 2 to 3 days, maybe 4 or 5.
A week. It's given a week.
Almost.
Okay.
Is shifting my perspective when I pray. And so I normally come into prayer like, God, I need you to help me with this.
Mm-hmm.
God, oh, I know you know how I've been feeling, or I need, or, more in a place of, what's the word I'm trying to say? Meaningless to say, now I come into prayer just as I did when we first started this podcast. It's like, God, I thank you that I already have.
Yeah, that's
like
a shift change.
Yeah. Is it called a paradigm shift or no?
Girl, you just went, I don't know.
Okay. But to shift your perspective in prayer is wonderful. It's been helping me out a lot, especially because I'm a person that can worry a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of me coming to God like, God, I'm so worried about, I'm worried. Thank you, God, that I have no reason to be worried.
Correct.
Thank you, God, that you have already figured it out. Thank you, God, that I ain't got to worry about that. I'm so thankful when you shift your perspective, because I used to come in like, God, I don't know what I'm finna do about this.
That's
but
real,
just
though.
to shift it and say, God, I know you already know. I thank you that I ain't got no reason. It has been helping me out. It's brought me great peace. It's almost giving worship instead of like complaint or like I'm not sure. It's like I know. Right. Even when I don't, I know you know, so I'm just thankful with that.
Right. So what you just said just made me think about like our word choices and how powerful they can be. Your perspective on how you pray shifted, and so did your words. You changed how you approach God. So if we as Christians, or even if you're not a Christian, we have to learn how to speak positively. Don't say stuff like you're really speaking stuff into your existence or into your life just by your words. So for an example, if you're sick, there's no point in you saying, oh, I'm sick, I don't feel good, my head hurting. It's better to start saying I'm healed. Even if you don't, even though
you don't
physically you are sick. But saying that you are sick, you got to change your perspective. Saying that you are sick is not going to make you feel better.
Girl, I'm finna run around this floor.
You have to speak positively in everything that you say, because your words have power. So a lot of people need to change their perspective just in the way that they talk. It's not that you're not saying, it's not that I'm telling you to say that you're not sick. That's not what I'm saying. We know physically that you are, but it's not helping you to say that out loud. You need to say, I am healed in the name of Jesus.
Because the power of life and death.
Your faith is going to make you well. You have to believe what you are saying.
Talk to him.
So perspective, shift, change.
A coworker of mine was saying that she was recently speaking to somebody on the phone, called her and said she had cancer. And I was just telling her the same thing that we are discussing right now.
What you said?
I'm like, when you pray about it, don't like, come, God, we need you. There's some things that are evident. You can't say that from time to time. God, I thank you that I'm healed. God, I thank you that when I come out of this, it's going to be something better for me. Thank you, God, for what you're teaching me during this process. Yes. I'm telling her to speak to the lady in that sense of thank you.
Yes.
Instead of like, ouch, it hurts, come help me. Thank you. You said
this.
That in your word that by your stripes I am already healed. You said that.
And if you know that, then your perspective, when you pray, you got to speak on what he said. You got to remind God, this is what you said. So this is what I expect you to do.
That's Bible. Repeat to him back his word. And it also said his word won't come back to him void. So he liked it. That's music to his ears. Oh, you telling me what I said. Okay.
Okay, she know.
Let me see what I can do for you.
Let me show you what I can do for you and everybody around you.
Mm.
I'm not just gonna bless you. I'm gonna bless everybody connected to you.
Hallelujah.
Cause you got crazy faith. You don't got the little itty bitty speck of faith. You actually said your word says this, God. So you got to do what you said.
That's a powerful shift. A shift in perspective. A shift in it. Oh, power of the tongue, perspective.
Yes, we got to speak the things that you want. Well, we were just talking about this MacBook Pro.
Y'all, shawty right here, man.
We was talking about this MacBook Pro, and I said I was going to get one this month, and it's coming tomorrow. And I told you, sister, and I want you to get one too. What you say?
I'm gonna get one.
Eventually. What should you have said?
What you had said after that was you gonna get one this year. That's what you said. And so, what do you feel like I should have said?
You should have said. I mean, you didn't. You agreed, but I'm saying I feel like. When do you want one? Whenever you want one, that is when you will receive one.
That's a whole sermon right there. Whenever you want it is when you.
It ain't about, oh, I need to save up, I need to do this, I need to do that. Who is your daddy?
The supply of all my needs. The creator of the Yeah.
Remember who God is. He's not a little God.
Yeah.
He's a big God.
I definitely agree with that.
Right. Yeah, that wasn't to you. I know you know that God is a big God. I was speaking in general.
Yeah, I agree with that. That would come me too.
He's a big God, so you might have a Goliath in your life, but your God is bigger than the Goliath in your life.
I think something that he said, speaking of Goliath, when you have a problem in your life, look at it as a opportunity and not a challenge. You remember he said that?
He probably did. I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh, I wrote it down. That's why I remember. But
don't look at it. Don't look at it as a problem.
Yeah, but an opportunity
to take it out. To take
opportunity
the problem out.
To grow, opportunity to learn, opportunity to know God better, opportunity to know. Look at it like that.
That's a great perspective.
We ain't gonna let that word go.
Great perspective to have. To look at a Goliath as an opportunity. I look at a Goliath as I'm David. So play with me if you want to.
They're doggone David, and this will be okay to conclude. Speaking of David, he had. Most people, when they hear the story of David and Goliath, they only look at it from David's perspectives. But I recently it was revealed to me a different perspective, and it was the brothers' perspectives. Okay. So, when he came to anoint David as king, or to anoint one of his sons as king, the perspectives of the brothers, imagine how they felt during that time when they possibly could have thought that they were getting ready to be king and he passed by them. Imagine their, you know what I'm saying?
Perspective.
Their way of thinking, their perspective.
Okay. Yeah, I never
thought about how they'll feel.
Never thought about it like that. I thought you was finna give me the perspective of Goliath, thinking that he's a giant, that he automatically gonna win.
Even better. Even better. And
what this little person gonna do to me? Had no idea that a slingshot, a rock in a slingshot would take me out. Oh, I'm a giant.
Didn't even cross my mind that you could do.
That's a perspective I thought you were gonna bring up.
That's an awesome perspective as well, though. Yeah. But just
to think that you have the upper hand.
Yeah. And I was just getting ready to say, each story in the Bible, or as you read different stories in the Bible, I try to help me better dissect a story or a verse, a chapter. I just think about it from different people's perspectives. So there can be Noah and the ark. I'm thinking about Noah's perspective. That's the most given perspective. But then how about these people that when it finally started raining, how did they feel? You know, just to look at different
The ones
perspectives.
that didn't want it to rain.
Yeah, the ones that didn't believe it was gonna rain and it started to rain. What was going through their mind? Just look at different perspectives as you read in the word, and it'll help you better dissect something.
Yeah, I think it'll help you to definitely understand better when you can see different points of views. You got to have a different kind of lens to see like that. And if you don't got it, what you got to do? Just pray. God, help me to see.
That is true.
Help me to understand other people's point of view. Yeah, I may not agree with their point of view once they explain it to me, and that's okay. But let it not turn into an argument or me trying to get them to see how I see it.
Yeah, and so even just having a disagreement with anybody, period, I normally try to see things from somebody else's perspective. I be telling you that a lot as well.
Yeah, you do. You don't be trying to see it from my perspective, though.
I think about your perspective. I definitely think about your perspective.
No, you don't.
I even will state to you your perspective. I see why you thought this, that, and the third, but can you look at it from my perspective? Can you see why I reacted the way I did? I do see your way. You said this, that, and the third, but could you see why I said that? Anyway, I just try to see somebody else's perspective. Whether it's your problem or a problem in the Bible, whatever it may be.
I think that was a good topic that we just flowed with just now. Normally I give the people something positive, but we are in a new setup right now. We're facing a different way. You know, they're seeing us from a different perspective. So, I want to ask you, do you have something for the people before we sign off? Something positive for the people.
Okay, something positive I have for you guys today is shift your perspective. When faced with great challenges, shift your perspective. When something new comes, shift your perspective. Think about how you can make it work for your good. When change comes, think about how you can make it work instead of thinking about, oh, this ain't gonna work. Shift your perspective. If I can give you a word of the day, it'll be shift your perspective.
Shift your perspective. I like that. Okay. I think that was that's gonna come in handy for some people. Right. Some people gonna be watching or listening and they be like, you know what? I do need to shift my perspective. And some people just don't
change your mind. That's changing your mind. It'd be hard to change your mind, especially when you're stuck in it. But
all right, guys. Well, we thank you all for tuning in as per usual. I'm Lady J.
And I'm Parris Kay.
And we are 2 in Sync. And we out here.
We out.